Hello, I'm Jamie Allen Bishop with Soul Heart Entertainment here to chat with you about EFT tapping. That's emotional freedom technique tapping to release a feeling of, let's say, overwhelm or not feeling good enough, and specific to the idea that we're beating ourselves up over something that we have not accomplished in the time that we expected to accomplish it. So the reason I bring this up is because I was just meeting with a group of business owners around client information and gathering the data necessary to be able to be a business owner, to be able to reach out to people for various and assorted reasons. Sometimes it's just to share something new you've learned, right? It doesn't have to be all about selling to whoever your prospects are. But the challenge was, now you have a database, assuming you've put it together, now what do you do with it? And it's something I personally have been struggling with for years and years and years. I have this fantastic database of people who have hired Soul Heart Entertainment and used my services, and I've never followed through with any of them. So now what do I do about that? And how do I stop beating myself up over not taking action when the action was appropriate to take? So I just wanted to go ahead and go there. I'm going to do it for myself. Might as well have y'all join me. So tapping is this idea that we have a meridian in our body of energy, and that energy holds onto things that do not serve us, subconscious beliefs, maybe some limiting thoughts, feelings, and emotions, things that keep us stuck in the place that we don't see movement forward. So by tapping on the pressure points, very lightly, not painfully, you barely even touch yourself really in those places, but it creates enough of a trigger for your body to recognize that you're ready to release things, okay? And the words start out as acknowledging the deep-seated, challenging thoughts that we have a tendency to have and not acknowledge. So when we suppress it, it has a tendency to persist. So we're trying to release that suppression and acknowledge that those thoughts may be there, if not for us, maybe for a friend or family member, or colleague or whatever. You can't tap something into your body. You can only release it from your body. So keep that in mind as we say the words that we say, and go ahead and say them. Even if it's not true for you, it might be true for somebody that you know, and you're just helping the collective consciousness release anything that they're holding on to. So another thing that you want to do before you start tapping is check in with your body with the statement. Okay, so we'll start with a statement. The setup statement is, even if I'm always beating myself up over the things that I don't accomplish. Okay, so when you say that kind of words or some things around those words, like beating myself up over fill in the blank, whatever, where do you feel that in your body? If you're kind of doing a little scan of your own body, where does that show up? So for me, it shows up in my tummy. I have a tendency to hold any kind of anxiety or fear-based feelings in my solar plexus chakra. So I feel it in my tummy. It definitely doesn't feel good because I definitely beat myself up, right? So it's a really high number for me. That's the other thing you want to do, is recognize where it is in your body and then give it a number. So on a scale of 0 being absolutely, you don't feel anything other than your normal energy flow, versus a 10, which is maybe where you feel a really high anxiety level over it, or a high pain point. it doesn't have to be pain per se, but it's kind of, it's bringing it on that scale to where it feels really uncomfortable. Okay. So you want to start out in the highest number that you can, because that will help you release the most. Okay. So I know it doesn't make sense to go there because we've come from this society of wanting to be very affirmative, wanting to say good things only, or affirmations only. But when we suppress that stuff and we don't acknowledge it, it just kind of builds on itself. So EFT helps us release that by tapping into the things that we try not to acknowledge and allowing it energetically to release from our bodies. Okay, so let's get started. So I feel that at a 9, solid 9 in my solar plexus, in my tummy area. So we're gonna tap on the EFT points. Here's just a nice little chart. We start at that karate chop. We go to the third eye, which is between the eyebrows. We go to the outside of the eyebrows. We go underneath the eyebrows, underneath the nose, underneath the lips. Then we're going to the collarbone. And you can just kind of tap all around there. It doesn't have to be any specific spot. And then underneath the arms, which you're probably not going to be able to see based on, how my camera situation is set up. And then we go to the top of the head. Okay, so let's do a little EFT tapping on beating ourselves up. So starting with the karate chop, we're going to say, even if I always beat myself up for not getting the things accomplished that I expect myself to accomplish in a day, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. And you'll want to repeat those words just in case I didn't say that. So whether it's to yourself in your head or out loud is better because you're using more than one sense when you say it out loud. You're using your voice, you're probably imagining what those words mean and how they feel in your body, and you're also hearing yourself. So you're using several senses when you say things out loud. And as such, be cognizant of your words going forward, right? All right, so even if I don't feel good enough, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. Even if I always feel guilt and shame over not accomplishing what I expect to accomplish, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. Okay, so I can already feel it releasing a little bit, but let's go to the inner eyebrow, and you kind of want to gauge in as you're going through the tapping, you want to gauge where it's at and how it's feeling. And it's okay if it increases as you're saying the negative things, because that's what's helping you let go of holding on to it. Okay, so inner eyebrows, these expectations that I have of myself. And I have a tendency to close my eyes because it helps me concentrate. It helps me allow my intuition to say the words that need to be said, okay? So I always beat myself up. And every time I beat myself up, I feel bad. I feel like a whipped puppy. I feel like a man down and kicking myself. I feel like I'm hurting myself. Yeah, that's it. All right, under the arms. And when I'm hurting myself, it serves no one. When I'm hurting myself, it serves no one. On the top of the head. And when I beat myself up, it serves no one. But I feel bad. I feel guilty. I feel shame because I'm not accomplishing everything I think I should. And when I think I should accomplish things and I don't accomplish them, the heart, the collarbone, I mean, it is the heart chakra. It's the collarbone, but it's the heart chakra. When I don't accomplish anything, I feel guilty. And I beat myself up. And I feel guilty and beat myself up. Because my expectations are not being met. And when my expectations are not being met, I feel like I'm disappointing myself. I'm disappointing the people that are counting on me. I'm disappointing the people that I lead. And I'm disappointing myself. Because I expect to be able to do it all. I expect to be able to do it all. And when I can't do it all, I don't feel good enough. And when I don't feel good enough, I feel shame and guilt. And that shame and guilt makes me feel awful. Spins me out. Sometimes puts me into a depression. And when I'm in a depressive or anxious state, I'm not my best self. I don't show up as the person that I want to be. I don't show up as my highest self. I don't show up as my highest self. When I put those expectations on myself and I don't accomplish them, I feel like a loser. I feel like a loser. And so here's where I'm going to check in. We're going to check in with our body, make sure that we are at a place where it feels like we can maybe turn this around. And for me, it feels that way. So we're going to turn it around now. If it feels higher than you started at, you're going to want to talk through it a little bit more, go a little bit deeper, get to the heart of what it is that you feel is holding you back. Maybe some stories are popping into your head. Maybe some things that happened in the past or things that you're afraid of in the future are popping, like the stories, the scenarios. So you want to kind of tap through all of those. And then here's where you turn it around when you start to feel a little bit better about it. And you start to think to yourself, God, these are lies. Why am I even telling myself these things, right? But maybe this is just a story. And it's a lousy story. And it's time to release this lousy story and embrace the truth. And the truth is, I do everything I can. In fact, I probably do more than most people do. Just by having a list of what to accomplish, I'm already doing more than the average person. I'm already accomplishing things in my business that I wouldn't otherwise be able to accomplish in my business or my life. I'm already being the example that I want to see in the world of somebody who takes action on what they want to accomplish, of somebody who sees the goal and strives for it. I'm already doing what needs to be done in order to build a better me. I'm already showing up as my highest self because I'm doing everything that I can. And in doing everything that I can, I am good enough. I am good enough. Let's just tap on all those. I am good enough. 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 And we'll end on the heart chakra or the collar area. I am good enough. Anyway, I feel 100 times better. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope this helped you. If you want to know a little bit more about EFT tapping and how I use that in my coaching, I would love to talk to you more about that. Have a great Thursday. Bye for now.